think it's funny when people say that. When I hear people say like, "Oh, the stock market, the house market's going to crash," it's like, but when? That's the key. Like,
honestly, you're making very valid points.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of our carcast.
Yeah, welcome back. Carcast is where we drive, you enjoy the view, enjoy us, hear our conversation, talking about whatever I have to talk about. We got a lot to cover today. Today is
Eid. We do.
Today's Eid. We got to talk about network commonalities, like streaming networks, and we got to talk about the housing crisis.
We
got a little game after the housing crisis, so let's try to get through it. I mean, first of all, today's Eid. If you're not aware, Eid al-Adha is the most important holiday for Muslims. So, yeah, it's a day of sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
And we realized a big struggle having Eid in America is that it can oftentimes be pretty boring sometimes. Would you agree?
Yeah, like it's like a running joke where everyone's like, I'm so excited to get dressed up to just sit in my living room.
Yeah.
It's like a thing. And like, why?
Yeah, classic Eid days, you wake up, go to prayer, and then that's kind of it. I mean, I think, we don't live in a Muslim country. There's not like a ton of events going on.
Yeah.
So unless you're like do something fun with your family or you have something planned, then you can make it fun. But
That's true.
I saw, I had a friend on Facebook post hashtag no more boring Eids, and he made like this resolution to always have like fun plans on Eids moving forward. And I think that's a pretty good resolution.
I like that vibe. We should do that.
Yeah, we should. Today, what did we do today?
I mean, Barry was still working. I took the day off.
I worked a little. I mean, I worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave a presentation.
Yeah. So I think moving forward, we should plan some fun tradition. Maybe we'll go skydiving on Eid, or maybe we'll go to a theme park on Eid. Something I think that is adrenaline-inducing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's
Today
fun.
we went to the DMV.
Yeah, we also went to the DMV.
To get our
I don't know if you
license
guys have
renewed.
heard about the Real ID application process, but it's been extended once again to 2023.
Oh yeah, that was a stab in the heart. We thought like we really needed to get these Real IDs made because they say you can't travel domestically without your passport.
Yeah.
Apparently the original deadline was like last year, the year before.
Yeah, October 2020 was the original date.
Yeah, and then now it was like October 2021. Like if you don't have the Real ID by then, you can't travel domestically without your passport.
Yeah.
And then we get there and we see that you actually have until 2023.
Yeah. And like what? Like, dang. Well, I mean, we got it out of the way. At the end of the day,
yeah,
we saved ourselves in 2023 thinking, hey, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Where are we driving today, Sana?
We are on the 101.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
So we actually, we were doing this spontaneously. Normally, we plan out where we're going to drive for the carcast. We were stuck in traffic on the 101.
For like a long time. We're like, oh.
We thought it'd be. We wanted to title this "Driving in LA Traffic,"
but it just died down.
Yeah, as soon as we set it up, I guess rush hour ended, and now you can see that the road's pretty clear. So this is just driving on the 101.
Just driving on the 101, pretty famous highway, I would say.
Yeah.
101. You got the 101, the 405, I think that's
the 101, 405. You got the 5. The 5's
you got the plain old 5.
Yeah.
I learned a fun fact about highways yesterday that highways that are end in an odd number run west to east, and even numbers are north to south. I didn't even know. There's structure to everything in life.
Yeah, some things make sense.
Also, I swear I'm driving. I know I'm like using 2 hands. That's the benefit of auto steer. So if you see me lifting my hands, it does not mean I'm not driving.
Are you low-key flexing that you have a Tesla?
I am not doing that.
Obnoxious.
I'm just letting the audience know because I realized I was doing a lot of movements with my hand, which is alarming as a driver. And I am a good driver. I just want to point that out.
I feel like that's something every Tesla owner says.
Yeah, I'm not really driving. Yeah.
We should make a video of like things Tesla owners say.
Ooh, yeah, we should.
That'd be cool.
That's a good video title.
Yeah.
So we started watching season 2 of Dave, and it's a pretty good show.
Yeah.
I really like that show.
It's like this, if you're not familiar, Dave is like this kind of funny rapper, this like Jewish guy who raps and like kind of raps like in a parody sort of way.
Yeah.
And he has a TV show now, and it's super ridiculous, like borderline, like grotesquely obscene sometimes, but like it works and it's kind of funny. And as we were watching, we were both thinking like, this reminds us of Rami, which is totally different. Rami is like this Egyptian,
very different show.
He's like an Egyptian stand-up comedian, Egyptian American, and like his show is about like the struggles of being Muslim in America and like finding faith and all that. So it's totally different from like this rapper narrative, but they have the same feeling.
Yeah, like the editing, the way the stories flow, it feels very similar. And then I started thinking, a lot of Hulu shows, like Hulu original shows, have that vibe.
Yeah.
And
like streaming networks do a pretty good job of staying consistent. Like whoever the showrunners or I don't know, whoever's in charge of like the tone. Like HBO, you can kind of spot an HBO show, like Game of Thrones, Succession.
An HBO show.
They just feel really well polished. Like the drama's there, and it's like, and Hulu has like the artistic vibe. Even what's another one? Atlanta. Is that a Hulu show or not?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
But it does have that vibe.
Yeah.
But like Handmaiden's Tale has that vibe too.
Which one's that?
That's Hulu.
That's Hulu?
Yeah.
Netflix has like that kind of, I don't want to say saturated and bright, but like you can just tell like Netflix shows just feel like a Netflix show.
Yeah. A little like corny.
Yeah, they have a little bit of like a corny tone.
Yeah, and a little like fast. Like I feel like Netflix shows are very fast.
Yeah.
I don't know, I might be overgeneralizing because I haven't seen all of the Netflix originals to be honest.
I wonder who's in charge of this kind of stuff.
Honestly, like I feel like, is it like an HOA?
Like an
of,
HOA?
like, you know, like HOA, you gotta like have like a lot of HOAs require you to have like the same colored house, the same type of pavement, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, is there an HOA of streaming
There
networks?
probably is. It's probably like you have to use this camera.
Yeah.
You have to have these camera angles. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Did you? That was slick. Did you say HOA because we're gonna segue into the housing crisis?
Did I? I might have done that.
Wow.
Yeah, I might have done that.
That's impressive.
You could say that I'm a storyteller.
Yeah. Well.
I'm a storyteller. I know how to transitions.
Nice.
Thus, hence, therefore, connecting words.
Yeah. So housing. That's a big topic these days. How like housing prices have gone up and up and up, and they've risen to like the highest levels at the fastest rate than they ever have in like decades. So
Let me tell you, that makes me sad. LA is already as expensive as it can be.
Yeah, it makes it tough for home buyers right now.
Mm-hmm.
They say that if you're going to buy a house for the long term, you shouldn't really time it. You should just get in as soon as possible. But then on the other hand, you hear a lot of skeptics or, you know, kind of pessimists saying, or, you know, whatever you want to call them, just saying that the housing market's going to crash. And my problem with that is that I think it's silly to say either the stock market or the housing market's going to crash when you don't give a time frame. Because if you just say, oh, the stock market's going to crash, you should be scared, you should be worried, or the housing market's going to crash, that's kind of like a given. Like, it's eventually going to take a dip. So like it's really a pointless claim unless you're gonna say like, oh, it's gonna crash by the end of the year.
A very analytical kind of guy.
I mean, I'm not making a statement myself. I think it's funny when people say that. When I hear people say like, oh, the stock market, the housing market's gonna crash. It's like, but when? That's the key. Like,
honestly, you're making very valid points because you know it's bound to happen. I get what you're saying. It's bound to happen. But like when? Next year? 10 years? Like when?
Yeah, like people have been saying it every year for the past however many years.
Maybe they predicted it would happen that year, and then it didn't, and they're like, oh man, it's going to happen now.
Yeah, and then you'll eventually be right, and I was right. But like the stock market, the stock market's been hitting new highs for like almost every month for the past year.
True.
It just keeps going up, so you really, it's hard to time these things.
That do be facts, I would say. That really do be facts.
So the question is, buying homes.
Buying a home.
It's tough. Would you?
In Los Angeles, wow.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough part right now, where it's like if you want to live in the city, you can't get anything decent for under like $1.5 million. It's like in like the actual like LA neighborhoods.
It's actually crazy. Like I think all of you guys should go on Zillow right now. Just like look up houses in any LA neighborhood, even some of like the worst neighborhoods. The houses are going for $1 million, like these like fixer-upper houses. Those are going for like $1 million plus. and knowing it's gonna be like a, you know, you gotta like really renovate it. It's gonna be a project home.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it makes me so sad because I'm like thinking like that money in like, you know, Texas or Florida or like, you know, Georgia or whatever it may be. That money's gonna get you a huge mansion in those places.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad. A huge mansion. You're gonna not only you're gonna have that mansion, you're gonna have a butler. You're gonna have a chef. You're gonna have everything you've ever wanted.
It's pretty wild, yeah.
It's all about location, location, location.
Yeah. Would you yeah, and you know, like on the outskirts of LA, when you get into the suburbs, that's where you can maybe find some quote unquote affordable housing.
Like maybe like an hour and a half outside of the city. I think Orange County is like an exception because it's still pretty pricey. But more if you go north, like more in the valley.
Yeah, and I guess that's a trade-off. Like, you know, you're further away from the action, but you can get a little nicer houses. So would
like
you
space or location?
Would you consider settling for a house outside of LA?
Like, you mean in like the suburbs or like just like outside of Los Angeles altogether?
Like the suburbs, like where we're driving now, like we're getting
Well, this
out.
is Calabasas, bro. Calabasas is bougie.
We're past Calabasas. We're now in Agora Hills.
Oh, yeah.
We're approaching Westlake Village.
Right. I don't know. Like, okay, here's the thing. Like, I know I live in Los Angeles, but let me tell you something. It's currently 93 degrees in the valley. Back home, it was 80. And like, back home, I literally mean just over the mountains.
Yeah.
So the valley's just extremely hot.
It gets so
and
hot.
I don't think I can handle that day to day. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Yeah.
What about you?
It really depends on the situation. I think like if you can kind of project that you can eventually get a house in LA, like I'd rather wait, several more years.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, like it's all about situation. Like if we had kids right now, then I feel like we would want to expedite getting a house. I mean, so it's all about figuring out the time.
It's crazy to think about. I definitely think kids is definitely a reason why a lot of people are like, all right, time to move out to the suburbs and you get like an actual home. So let's for these kids.
Let's play the game. We always like to play a game where we say, would you rather live here or here?
Yeah, we do.
So let's put a spin on it now and like make it more housing related. If you could get, let's say, a super nice home. Well, let's start easier. Okay. Would you rather live in LA or Chicago?
LA.
Okay, so LA. Would you rather live in a very nice, modern, like 3,000 square foot home in a nice place in the city of Chicago, or an okay, not super modern home in the outskirts of LA, let's say like La Crescenta, like the north parts of LA.
Oh man!
And it's like it's smaller. It's like 2,000 square foot. That's fine.
Man.
So basically, an okay home in the suburbs of LA, or like a really nice home in Chicago.
Oh man! I find these would you rather questions so hard. Honestly, I really don't live in the outskirts. I really don't live in this heat. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm gonna go ahead and say the nice home in Chicago.
Wow.
I guess when it's cold 9 months of the year, I'll just stay in the house.
Man.
I can't.
I did not expect that, not gonna lie.
What about you? I guess
LA, yeah. Like Chicago.
I know, I don't, don't get me wrong, I don't want to live in Chicago, but I don't know. Because I can't live in the outskirts, I'll be upset every day.
Take a 30
I'll be
drive.
upset 9 months a year in Chicago.
Yeah.
Honestly, ask me another one. Give me another city. Chicago's not a good reference. Give me another city
let's take LA out of it. Let's do, okay. First, would you rather live in Austin or Seattle?
Okay.
Just in general.
Austin?
Austin, okay. So
Seattle.
You changed to Seattle?
Yep.
Okay, so what if you had, same thing, a really, a nice modern 3,000 square foot home in Austin, or an okay 2,000 square foot, not so modern home in Seattle? They're both in the suburbs, so neither of them are in the cities.
Okay. Seattle or Austin. Austin's up and coming.
Nice home in Austin?
Yeah, Austin's up and coming.
Nice. Solid.
What about you?
I mean, I'd rather live in Austin regardless.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think if it was the other way around, though, if it was a nice home in Seattle, then I would pick Seattle because they're both kind of neck and neck
Neck
for
and
me.
neck.
They're both nice
That's
cities.
fair.
I like them both.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what we're learning is that, at least for me, it comes down to the house and less of the city, which,
Sometimes. I mean, LA is the exception for me. Like, I really want to be in LA, even if it means not having, the house of our dreams. I think.
Yeah, I love LA. Definitely would love to stay here for long term.
Yeah. Give me one. Give me a.
Okay, what about let's say a modern home in Brooklyn, a nice modern home in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
or a shabby. Is shabby the right word I'm looking for?
That's fine.
What?
Well, shabby is, I think, negative.
Yeah, like a shabby, small, like 1,000 square foot home in the outskirts of LA.
Oh, you said Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I guess I'm going back on my word. I'd pick the Brooklyn one.
I knew I would catch him in his BS.
I mean, yeah, Brooklyn's not bad. Like, I wouldn't mind living in New York if it's like in a home.
Yeah.
I think what I don't like is like living. I associate like if I were to live in New York, I'd have to live in like a small apartment or something. But like if it was, this nice house in Brooklyn, like, why not?
Yeah, why not? That's a good point. Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like don't want that shabby home in the outskirts of LA.
Oh yeah, so there you have it. I mean, houses matter, and we're not going to give any advice of when to buy a house because
Oh yeah.
clearly we're not qualified for that.
Nope. We're just here having opinions. We're just here.
But I will say, if you're going to be a skeptic saying it's going to crash or something, at least put a time of when you think it's going to crash. Otherwise, you're making just a
You're just
blanket
making up-
statement that
Yeah, just this broad
it's
statement.
going to be right no matter what.
Dang. Baby's out here finding that BS. He's like, I want that date. Please,
Yeah.
can someone give me a date?
All right, well, that wraps it up for today. We're basically in Thousand Oaks now, going to see some family for Eid.
Oh
Eid-
yeah,
Eid-
that barbecue.
Eid Mubarak to all our
Mubarak.
Muslim brothers and sisters out there. Peace and love as always, and we will see you next time.
Bye.